When duty calls,
praying that they're alive, hoping that, that they'll turn up safe.
a first responder always answers.
He was contacted at home about two boys who had been missing for several hours on the Kentucky River here in Frankfort.
No matter the place,
Water rescues are extremely dangerous.
no matter the time.
He left his house around 5 o'clock to go search for these boys.
It's the Kentucky State Police Code of Ethics. Serve mankind, safeguard lives.
They were just trying to do their job.
But on this day, the tables were turned.
The water levels were very high that day.
The one sent to search, suddenly needing saving.
My name is Katrina McNeely, and I am searching for answers in the disappearance of my father, Trooper James McNeely.
She was only a child when her father went missing.
It's very disappointing I never got to know him.
She tries to remember his face.
Big stature about him, big personality, big blue eyes, dark hair.
For the rest of his story, she relies on records. Trooper McNeely wasn't on duty the night he disappeared.
And it was his day off because it was his 16-year anniversary.
But when he got the call that someone needed him, he dropped everything to respond.
He left his house around 5 o'clock to go search for these boys, where he met with Water Patrol Officer David Childs.
Officer Childs was an experienced Water Patrol officer. Trooper McNeely led the unit for the Kentucky State Police.
He had came to Frankfort to take over the boating division when it first was started. So he knew what was going on, with the boats and everything, and knew what to be done.
A third man was also in the boat, a friend of Trooper McNeely's. Police say the rescuers never made contact with the missing boys. They were eventually found safe.
They got in the boat, got out on the water. As they were getting close to one of the locks, another gentleman saw them getting too close to the dam, started yelling for them, trying to point out the dam. About that time, that gentleman noticed that the motor had stopped on the boat. The boat overturned and went over the dam and was broken apart as it went over.
All three men went overboard.
The water levels were very high that day and at a dangerous level.
McNeely's friend was saved. Police say Trooper McNeely and Officer Childs drowned. When the water receded, one body surfaced.
Officer Childs, his body was recovered sometime later, 126 miles away in Tell City, Indiana. And Trooper McNeely's body has never been recovered.
Katrina remembers getting the news.
I remember the next day, though, everyone crying and the trauma of it all, and just so many family members trying to get to us as fast as they could.
She says she also remembers having questions.
I was probably like in my late 20s, early 30s. And that's when I started talking to the state police about my dad, and there was no information.
She said police wouldn't tell her how long they searched for her dad.
I would think someone who was a 16-year veteran that you would have some kind of files of one way or another.
She said they couldn't tell her how it happened. Do you believe that the boat went over the dam and he drowned?
I question it. I am not 100% believe that it was an accident, or that he is even dead, or that it was foul play. I still have my doubts about it. I'm not 100% about anything because there's just too many things that don't match.
She has questions about the search, how long they looked and where. Questions about the boat, why the motor failed. Questions about his badge. She says it was never returned.
Just every time I find something and have it addressed, it always gets shut down.
Something she is certain of, she missed out on years of memories.
Everyone told me that when you met my father that you would never forget him.
Police promise they're doing everything they can to find the missing trooper.
We're never going to give up trying to look for Trooper McNeely.
Katrina's promise, she won't stop asking questions about his case.
I've been going through this my whole life. I need answers. Wouldn't you want answers?
Nestled between Kentucky's rolling hills,
Well, this town really has a lot of charm.
beyond the bourbon distilleries,
Full of friendly Southern hospitality.
beside the Bluegrass Parkway,
It was a Norman Rockwell painting. It was a very idyllic.
this tiny town takes you back in time.
I like to say Bardstown's a typical Kentucky town, but it truly isn't. It's very special.
Most celebrated for its signature spirit,
Orange, a little bitters.
Bardstown is called the bourbon capital of the world.
Do the muttering, very important to do that. We stir, just like what they say in the
With an emphasis on agriculture and tourism, those who live here are proud of their old Kentucky home.
I love Bardstown. It's so beautiful.
But beyond the bourbon and the beauty, there's a story.
We've like a fractured bone that we've never put a cast on. It's still there, it still hurts.
A story that starts in 2013.
Hello? Officer down, Bluefield Road.
It was the worst day of my life.
Ma'am, can you advise the status of the officer? Is he conscious?
I believe he's dead.
The next chapter only 1 year later, when a teacher and her teenage daughter are home alone.
Kathy was a teacher there in Bardstown. That's actually how they got reported. Someone needed to go check on her. She didn't show up to work that next morning.
They weren't bad people. There was nothing about their public personas to suggest that. And the fact that they died so gruesomely.
3 victims, no answers, and the story doesn't stop. July 2015, a missing mother starts the next chapter.
She never hurt anybody.
No, I don't think she's alive.
Sorry. I haven't been here.
And for this family, the story only gets harder when the missing mother's father is shot and killed.
I don't want nobody to preach forgiveness to me. Talking about hell, we're going through hell here. Yeah.
Jason Ellis, Kathy and Samantha Netherland, Crystal Rogers, and Tommy Ballard. Know their names, learn their stories. All of these cases are unsolved.
I was removed from my family when I was 7 years old, so I don't remember my journey before St. Joe's. St. Joe is a fun and exciting because a lot of people come and see us, but sometimes sad because a lot of people come and go. Sometimes you have good days and sometimes you have bad days. Life is normal at St. Joe's. I have friends that sometimes come and go. I would tell myself to act better, and you would find a real family. There will be sadness because some families want better for you. My 3 wishes. For St. Joe to be a castle because it would fit way more kids and staff. To go back to my grandma to have fun and see the rest of my family. My mom to stop being abusive so she can see me again and we can start over. My therapist for trying to find a new placement for me even though it is so hard. I still have to do it. I am a kind person. I think a family would like that.